Welcome back, everyone here to Bragg Starts today. Got a very special video for you guys. We are going to be talking about a potential big move the Yankees are about to make, as well as some Yankees news, Yankees discussions, and and we'll see how this goes. So, on Friday afternoon, we heard. Hold on, I do apologize. Gotta turn my gain down.
Yeah, there we go.
Okay, sorry about that. So, on Friday afternoon, we heard some news. Buster Only went on the radio and basically said that the Yankees are in on Carlos Rodon, but they have something bigger in the works. Then, that same day, Michael K. heard basically the same thing and mentioned it on his radio show, on the Michael K. Show, saying the Yankees have something big in the works. And that's really only two places it got reported, and many fans have been speculating what this could be. Could it be Correa? Could it be a massive trade? So we really don't know. And it could just be nothing at the end of the day. But it's certainly interesting to speculate, and it's definitely an interesting topic. Over the course of this weekend, there hasn't been much news with the Yankees and baseball in general, although the Mets did sign Kodai Senga. But some good news that came out last night, Saturday night, from the New York Post. Brian Heyman reported that the Yankees are preparing to make an offer for All-Star pitcher Carlos Rodon and feel optimistic about their offer. So we'll see how things go. And Christian, how are you doing tonight? With not much news lately. We did hear that thing yesterday about Rodon, the potential big news. But things are a little quiet, not just with the Yankees, but in MLB right now.
Yeah, you might have to unplug your mic. I'm gonna try doing that. It's like a weird, it's like a weird staticky sound.
Hold on, you talk. I'll try to fix it.
All right. Yeah, I'm doing good. I'm kind of itching for some news right now. We came off winter meetings and we got Judge, and that was awesome. And I think Yankee fans, we got Judge, we were happy, and then we were like, all right, now what's next? And Rodon rumors were flying, and then things have kind of settled down with the Yankees and all of baseball, and I'm kind of ready for it to get going again. I know a lot of free agents are off the board, but we still have, Carlos Correa, Carlos Rodon, and, title of this video, Yankees are preparing to make a big move. Well, what that's referencing, we did a video on this yesterday, is the Buster Only report saying that the Yankees could be looking at something bigger than Carlos Rodon. And he suggested maybe that is Carlos Correa. Michael K was also talking about that possibly being a trade. People were throwing out Shohei Ohtani's name, which is a pretty big wild card since they already said they don't want to trade him, but you never know. So
the Yankees supposedly last year at the trade deadline were one of the few teams that made a serious offer. And it makes sense because a guy like Ohtani would bring the Yankees a lot of profit internationally as well. And he's an excellent, phenomenal player. So maybe, although I don't know, it looks like the Angels are really trying to compete this year. They've made a few trades, got Hunter Renfroe, got Gio Urshela. What's his name? Tyler Anderson. Is that his name? The guy they got from the Dodgers.
On the Angel, yeah.
Yeah. So it looks like they're trying to contend this year. So I don't know, but maybe you never know.
Yeah. It's very interesting. Another name getting thrown out. Dansby Swanson. I don't really see this as a fit for the
No.
Yankees. Maybe the Cubs. He's definitely going to get a lot of money though, especially with the market. Tours to Baltimore for Cedric Mullins. Orioles are kind of like ready. They're getting ready to win now. The rebuild is starting to end. So I don't know about that, but there's so many rumors flying now. I don't really know what to believe. Again, me and Ryan, we did a video on here yesterday talking about Carlos Correa, and just to kind of sum it up real quick, if you haven't seen it, we said, so Carlos Correa, obviously we'd love to have him. We were kind of spectacle though, because it just didn't really make sense. You have Volpe, Peraza, Cabrera. Why are you going to trade for a shortstop now when all these prospects are right on the horizon?
And not only
So
that, they still have two really, really good prospects still in the minor leagues that are really good shortstops, Roger Arias and Trey Sweeney. So they're loaded at the shortstop position internally. Um, yeah, I mean, I don't know. I mean, listen, the Yankees know Carlos Correa is a great fit. I mean, he's an excellent talent. He's the best defensive shortstop in MLB. Um, and he's just a phenomenal talent. It seems like he's a clutch guy. It seems like he's a leader. Um, and you just look at what happened with the Astros and how he kind of groomed Jeremy Pena into that role as the shortstop, and I'm that played definitely a big effect on Jeremy Pena's development and his success. But he's a leader, and maybe the Yankees, I know they got their internal guys, but maybe for the right price, they decide to get a guy like Carlos Correa, slide him at shortstop, and then one of the young kids move to second base, or maybe Correa could somehow find his way at third base. I don't know. But I mean, he would certainly be a big addition to the team, would slide right in there, top of the lineup, or you could throw him in, like 3, 4, something like that, or 2. Move Judge 3, some. I don't know. There's a lot of different options, but he would definitely be a great fit.
yeah, I mean, kind of where we settled with Carlos Correa was we love it, but we just didn't know if this was real. We saw 161. Shout out to Jason. We've done a lot of stuff with him. Great channel. If you don't know him, he just said earlier in the chat, maybe this is all a smokescreen, and we also mentioned that because maybe Rodon's price was getting a little too high for the Yankees, and this was a way of bringing it down. Both Scott Boras guys, so doesn't fully fit the story, but it's very
I mean, yeah.
interesting.
Bottom line is there's too many variables. We have no idea. I mean, in Carlos Correa, when you're thinking about big move, you say, okay, on the trade market, the only guy that is popping in our heads realistically is Brian Reynolds, unless it's like a surprise move, which Cashman does tend to do a lot of surprise moves. So unless it's a surprise move, you'd think it's Brian Reynolds via trade, and free agency has to be Carlos Correa. Has to be. So, I don't know. I don't know. I know the Yankees reportedly talked to Correa about a 4-year deal last year. Never really got anywhere. But I don't know. Maybe for the right price, they could get Carlos Correa over there, and he'd be a big fit. He'd be a really good piece. And I get you have your prospects, but you could make an opening at second base, for either Volpe or Peraza. You might have to move one of them via trade, but I mean, the bottom line is Carlos Correa is a really good player, and he would improve your team a lot. So I
Yeah,
really don't know when they're saying bigger move. I don't, I really don't know. So I'm not gonna, sit here and just speculate all night because we really have no idea.
yeah. This wouldn't be the big move, but dumping Hicks and or Donaldson is very interesting because they're both guys where by dumping them, the team gets better, which you have to be a pretty bad player for that to be the case. But they both really drag the team down in terms of money and just how they perform on the field. So that would be very interesting, possibly trading them. But the only real way you're going to be able to do it is if you throw in uh, some some solid prospects, because no team wants to take on those contracts. So I think it's more likely we're going to see a Hicks trade, just because we have a center fielder in Bader, and we're probably going to go out and get a left fielder in free agency. Like the Yankees are set for outfielders. Third base, I think the Yankees are looking at it, and we have 1 year left to Donaldson. Let's hope he can get a little bit back to where he was, and that last year was just kind of a down year. And we're not expecting MVP Donaldson. This guy's 37 years old, so we're not expecting something amazing, but just hope he can get somewhat back to a playable level. And if not, all right, it's 1 year. We don't have to worry about him going into 2024. But I think a Hicks trade is very likely. I think there was rumors maybe about him going to the Rockies.
Mm-hmm.
I don't. As a Yankee fan, it's hard to see a team wanting one of those two guys. But yeah, I definitely think it's important to try and dump at least one of them.
Yeah, I mean, I heard the Nationals were another team too. I mean, I fully expect Hicks to be gone. They really he can't come off the bench, and there's no value for him. You got Bader, you got Judge. You're gonna get a left fielder. You have Oswaldo Cabrera, who can play both corner spots, and also Judge need be. Judge could go in center field for a game. For some games, but a lot of flexibility with the outfield, and there's no spot for him. JD is going to be really hard to move. I guess if you really wanted to, you could, but you'd have to give up some prospects. I don't know if it's that worth it. And I think what you do is you hope Donaldson can turn it around, and that's kind of what you do. You just hope he gets a new approach, fixes what was wrong with his swing, and kind of get back on track. And the biggest problem that was noticeable throughout the course of the season with Donaldson is he was a guest hitter the whole year. And, we would just watch him go down looking on breaking balls. He was looking for a fastball. The guest hitting has to stop. He has to find a better approach, and there's nothing wrong with guessing or locking in on a certain pitch. But if you're gonna do that, and some players can just do that, you got to get it right. And Donaldson was just struggling all year, and you just got to hope he can turn around and get to the player the Yankees thought they acquired.
Yeah, well, one interesting thought is when you have Isaiah Kiner-Falefa, he doesn't really have a spot on the 2023 team, but he's probably going to be on the roster. I mean, unless we see a trade, which I don't think is going to happen. So at least for IKF, I do think a trade's possible, but I don't think IKF is going to be involved. So the question is kind of, what do you do with him? You're not really going to have him pinch hit. That's not who IKF is. A defensive replacement doesn't really make sense. I guess you could have him as a pinch runner. He's a pretty good base runner. However, what I could see happening is if Donaldson continues to struggle, then they're going to slot in IKF at third base. We saw it a little bit, I think, when Donaldson went on the paternity list, and IKF looked pretty good at third. He won a Gold Glove at third base. So I feel a lot more comfortable with his defense at third. And then, look, if IKF's playing good defense, I could be talked into his bat. I would much rather IKF's at bats from last year over Donaldson, where IKF is a bottom of the lineup 8 or 9 hitter, but hey, there's something to be said for putting the ball in play, making some contact,
No, there
and
is.
if he's playing good defense. So that version of IKF, I would take over 2022 Josh Donaldson.
I mean, yeah, you're spot on. But the Yankees think Donaldson still has something left in the take, and this might sound crazy, and I'm not. I'm not saying I feel confident that this could translate over, but me myself, I have a little bit of confidence left in Josh Donaldson because I think he's a better player than this. Do I think he's going to be, an all-star next season? I certainly hope so. I don't really think so, but I do think Josh Donaldson is a better player than what we saw this year. So, it is 1 year. Your major concern is that he's 37, and that's, it could be signs of aging, but I'm not. I don't know. I don't know how confident I am that would translate over, but I do have a little bit of confidence left in Donaldson because I do think he's a better player. But I'm not saying I'd stick with him, but if the Yankees do, I could see why, if that makes sense.
Yeah, this is an interesting one. Luis Arise of the Twins. I believe he plays first. At
He's
first,
more DH, more DH.
First and DH. So there wouldn't really be a spot for him on the Yankees with Rizzo and
Hey,
Stanton.
Christian, give him a glove. He can learn to play third.
I would take him at third base over Josh Donaldson. If you don't know who he is, he won the batting title. Sucks that he beat Judge. Would have the Triple Crown, but this guy is the super version of IKF, like the ultimate contact hitter.
No, I mean, hey, he would be a great fit for the Yankees. I haven't heard he's on training block, but yeah, I mean, if the Yankees could go out and get him, that'd be pretty good. I mean, there would be a little bit of a concern with where he's going to play, but I mean, you'd have to stick him at third base. I mean, that's really, I don't even know if he can play third base, but I mean, he can't really DH unless Stan's going to be your everyday left fielder, which is not
Hicks and Montas for Ryan McMahon. This wouldn't happen. I think I'd have to see McMahon's stats, but I don't think he's that good. But I'm also pretty sure he's young, so he's not making money. So it would basically just be like the Rockies taking money from the Yankees, or the Yankees taking money from the Rockies.
That deal would not happen. Montas has one more year left on his contract, and then he's a free agent. And I don't know. On
a more serious note, though, because I think a lot of Yankee fans, when we're talking about trades and stuff, they would like to throw Montas's name into the conversation. I don't think he's going to get traded. Like I feel very strongly about that. Because his price, his value right now is at an all-time low. Like you wouldn't trade a guy now. You're gonna stick with him.
You wouldn't get half as back as what you gave up for him. You might not even get a quarter. It doesn't really make sense to trade him. I mean, I'm sure there'd be a lot of teams interested in him, but because he is a starting pitcher and he's had success at the big league level, but you wouldn't get anything close to the value you got. Hey, but Montas is. You look at the stats. I mean, you look at the stats, and he's been a good pitcher, and he came over. He was kind of injured. There was kind of, let's give him a pass. See what you can do this year. You go out, you get Carlos Rodon. You have like three other guys that could fit in that fifth spot in the rotation and do a fine job. Domingo Germán, Clark Schmidt could both be excellent fifth starters. And Frankie Montas, though, probably for 2023 has the highest ceiling out of those three guys. And Talking Yanks put out a tweet today. I think it was BBD who tweeted it. Like, if the Yankees get Rodon and Montas turns into the guy we thought, then your rotation is on paper the best in baseball. And it's like pretty crazy to think about that rotation. To have four all-stars in the rotation. You'd have Frankie Montas, who's been a good pitcher most of his career. And yeah, I mean, your rotation would be sick. Yeah, I mean, imagine having to face like Garrett Cole, Rodon, Nestor, Severino Severino's your fourth starter, just pumping out like fastballs. Oh, and the next day, yeah, go hit Frankie Montas' splitter. Like it would just be pretty amazing. And I have some confidence in Frankie Montas. I really hope he can get the job done. I mean, the concerning thing is the home and road splits when he was with Oakland. It's very concerning, but you just gotta hope that last year was kind of a wash. He got traded, he was hurt, and see what he can do. See what he can do this year.
Ryan, I'll pose a question to you before we shift gears. And this is a good question on screen, but to kind of end these rumors, the big move talk. Who do you think would bring more value to the Yankees? Obviously, Carlos Correa is the better player, but in terms of Carlos Correa and Carlos Rodon, who do you think brings more value to the Yankees relative to what they're going to be worth?
To what they're going to be worth with their contracts?
Yes. So, like, Carlos Correa is the better player. He's getting $300 million, but, he's more expensive.
I think you get more value personally with Rodon, just because your rotation would be really good, really good on paper, and you got the young kids, right? So that 3-4 years down the line, Anthony Volpe can be a superstar. Oswald Peraza could be a superstar. But you could certainly go the other way. I mean, it's super close. Carlos Correa he's a generational. He's like a generational talent. He's very, very good. So
I think that's very fair. I think that would be the general consensus. I'd probably take Carlos Correa just because now I just feel like you have Carlos Correa on your team. Offense is never going to be an issue. And I feel like it just keeps coming up. Ever since 2020, it just keeps coming up. Whether it's the postseason, a random stretch in August. So Carlos Rodon, I get it. You're going to have one of the best rotations of all time, but
I mean, let's slow that down. I mean, they still got to go out there and prove it. I mean,
yes, going into the season, you have two top 10 pitchers, Garrett Cole and Carlos Rodon. You've nested Cortez, who's on pace. It'd be one of the best rotations of all time, at least going into the season. But at the end of the day, if the Yankees don't hit, none of it will matter. So that's why I would lean more towards Carlos Correa. But I think Carlos Rodon is more likely at this point. This is a very interesting one. Marwin Gonzalez and Matt Carpenter. We had a video like right when the offseason started predicting Yankees free agents and will they come back or not. We said
won't be back. Marwin Gonzalez won't be back. The Yankees don't have room for him. They don't need him. They got Correa. As far as Carpenter, I know they've been in touch with his agent. Although Carpenter is looking for more playing time, I mean, he would certainly be a great guy to bring back. But I mean, we'll see what happens.
Yeah, I loved Marwin Gonzalez. No, but I mean, I don't have a problem with him, but he's not coming back. Matt Carpenter, I'd love to see him back, but if somehow, I mean, we're seeing what Cody Bellinger just got. Like, if Matt Carpenter's price somehow gets up there, I'm okay with the Yankees walking. Jason saying that Reynolds is the right fit for left field if we want to take advantage of prime seasons of our current guy. So, I mean, I guess we can talk about left field a bit. With Benintendi, Yoshida's off the board. So we got Benintendi, Brian Reynolds. Who's our guy?
You got Conforto.
Yeah.
I think it's Benintendi. I've heard the reports that he might not be a big city guy, but I mean, you got Brian Cashman going out there on the S Network and saying like how much they love this guy, how much they want to bring him back. I mean, it's so simple. Like it's so simple that he just fits so many of the Yankees' needs. I do expect it to be Benintendi. Money talks. Maybe he's not a huge city guy, but the Yankees give him the right price. I'm sure he'll be a city guy now, but I expect it to be Benintendi. I do, because the Yankees, unless they know they have a very good shot or a fair, solid shot at Reynolds, I mean, they're not going to stick with Conforto. I don't think they'll do that. If that's what happens, I mean, we'll see. But I do expect it to be Benintendi.
Yeah, he would probably be my pick. I really like what he brought to the table, and I'm not saying the Yankees would have beat the Astros in the ALCS, but having Benintendi and DJ, they're probably winning a few games, and it definitely makes a difference. Like that lineup is not the same without your two main average guys in the lineup. So I really want Benintendi back, and I do want I don't want to see the Yankees get too right-handed again. I mean, I know you're gonna have Rizzo, but you don't re-sign Benintendi. Who are you looking at? Aaron Hicks is a switch hitter.
No, you
I
got
don't.
Correa.
You got Cabrera, so I mean, I guess if they put him in left field, then you'll have one switch hitter and one lefty in the lineup. I don't want to see the Yankees
I
fall
think
into that.
I first of all this left if the Yankees somehow don't get Benintendi, couldn't they just stick with Cabrera and left?
Well, they could.
It would I mean you'd have to get someone on the bench that could play left field, so you could utilize Cabrera's flexibility. But do I have to sign Michael Conforto? I don't know.
Yeah, I
Because
would.
he can play left field. I mean, he can play it. He played it pretty well.
I would rather go into the season, at least with Conforto. My first choice is Benintendi, but I would, if not Benintendi, I want to go into the season with at least Michael Conforto, have him locked in, to pencil him in to be your left fielder, and have Oswaldo kind of be your utility guy. Maybe you could play third base or
He
kind
can
of just
play
fill
third
in,
base.
basically be the role of DJ until DJ comes back. Also,
Well,
Oswaldo can
now
play outfield.
DJ probably is gonna. It looks like he's not getting surgery, so it looks like he'll be on time to start the season.
All right,
So
so you'll then. So that'll be an interesting situation then. I guess you'll have. Who's going to get benched on opening day?
I don't know. We're not there yet.
Yeah, this is why I say that there's probably going to be a trade in the works, because especially now that they're having all their young guys come up, like you have the current infield, and already that was too much. I mean, you had Gleyber Torres on the bench on opening day, and now you have all these young guys coming up with Cabrera, Peraza, even Volpe cracking the surface. Like, they can't all be on the roster. So this is where I say that there's probably going to be a trade coming up.
Yeah, I'm sure there will be a trade. I'm just thinking right now, I want Carlos Rodon so bad. I mean, honestly, I was gonna almost tweet this, but I don't know. In recent, I mean, obviously Judge and obviously Judge and stuff like that. But I mean, this fan base wants Carlos Rodon so freaking bad. You go on Twitter, Christian, how many tweets do you see a day of Yankee fans saying, go get Carlos Rodon? Give me a ballpark number.
A ballpark number? All right, I probably read, I don't know, maybe 200, 300 tweets a day? No, 200 tweets a day.
Okay.
I'd say I see 40 that have Carlos Rodon's name in them. Yeah, 50. A fourth of the tweets. It was his birthday, and everyone's wishing him a happy birthday.
People were donating the money.
Yeah, playoff Tanaka Gabe on Twitter donated him $5. Hey, come to the Yanks.
I mean, dude, I mean, Carlos Rodon would be. I mean, he'd be sick. That rotation would just be absolutely sick. It would be unreal, especially if Frankie Montas figures it out. That rotation would be sick. And I mean, it's just pretty crazy. There's not really a weakness there, right? So, I mean, who knows? If they have that rotation, especially with how close that rotation is, And I know Monty and Jamo are gone, so we'll see how that affects it. But I know Cortez and Cole are very, very close. So, and Sevy as well. See, and Rodon, I feel like they could all mesh together really well and kind of trade off each other's excellence and feed off one another. Because the Yankees obviously have the tradition where all the starters watch the starter on that day in the warm up in the bullpen. CC Sabathia started that. So I think it could really, really be a great team chemistry thing. Really feed off each other, and I think we could see at least 4 of them potentially make the All-Star team because it's pretty crazy, and I want Carlos Rodon so freaking bad.
Yeah, and I mean, a fair point. Montas was hurt during the season, so ideally we're going into the season with a healthy Frankie Montas. So it's not crazy to be optimistic about him. This isn't Joey Gallo. So, and I don't know, I haven't been on Twitter in the past hour, but Arai is getting a lot of hype. So, Yankees traded with the Twins last offseason. You never know, but
I've seen a lot of hype. I mean, it makes sense. I've not heard anything. I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, I think the Twins want him. They want to win. They want Carlos Correa. So I don't. Maybe he's a free agent.
No, you're not. No, you don't want him. Sorry, he's going to be on our team.
Yeah,
and
Carlos.
We're going to get both of the Carloses, and they're going to be at a press conference, and someone's going to make I don't know, like someone with the Carloses. We want both of the Carloses.
Yeah. One thing I want to talk about.
What number you think Rodon wears? What if we sign him?
What's his number right now?
It's 16. That's Whitey 4. That's retired, so you can't wear that. I think he wore 55 with Chicago. And
let's see all his numbers. I think he's only wore 55. Oh yeah, okay, 55.
55.
Okay.
Rodon. I want to be buying my Carlos Rodon 55 jersey by Friday.
And something worth mentioning, Carlos Rodon wants to be a Yankee. There's a lot of hype on Twitter.
That's what the reports are saying. That's what the reports are saying.
Forget reports. Look at what he said. I saw the video of him singing New York, New York. So
I'm agreeing with you, and that's what the reports are saying.
I feel like I've heard a quote saying, "My dream's to be a Yankee." Maybe I'm just envisioning that.
I didn't hear
something like that. He's been hinting at it. So
I mean, yeah, when he got drafted, his song that he played or whatever was it was like One Thing About Me, one of your favorite songs or something. It was like New York, New York. So
yeah,
there was a lot of signs. CC Sabathia was talking to him on the R2C2 podcast and basically saying he wished that Carlos Rodon got traded to the Yankees, and he said basically there's still time or something. But hey, I mean, the reports are saying there's definitely mutual interest there. Everything I'm seeing, there's mutual interest there that he wants to be a Yankee and the Yankees want him, and I would love him to be a Yankee. I love him. I mean, he'd be a really great fit. Even balance out that rotation, lefty in Yankee Stadium. I mean, there's really nothing you can be opposed about when it comes to signing Carlos Rodon. There's literally nothing. There's nothing, and I think it should be the Yankees' number one priority to sign this guy.
I would love him. One thing I want to talk about, because I think this kind of got overlooked because Judge signed a day later, but I feel really good about the Yankees bullpen right now. You subtracted Aroldis Chapman, and you added Tommy Kahnle. You're also, you don't have Chad Green anymore, but he was also hurt for nearly the whole season, so it's not like I was penciling him in. And you're hopefully going to have Mike King back, right? I mean, I think he's already starting to throw.
Yeah.
So,
and you're gonna,
I feel pretty good.
Yeah, and you're gonna have some guys in the back end because I assume that Frankie Montas is gonna be the fifth starter unless a guy like Schmidt or maybe Herman impresses in spring training. But I mean, you're gonna have one of those long relief guys like Herman or Schmidt, right? I still think, and this is just me, I think the bullpen's very solid right now. I still think they could get one more arm, preferably a lefty. Some guy in the chat, Aiden, thank you very much. Andrew Chafin. I've been saying for a while now, I really, really want Andrew Chafin. He'd be my number one pick. Actually, when kind of the offseason first started, and the first two relievers that came to my mind that I wanted the Yankees to get was Tommy Kahnle, Andrew Chafin. So we got one of them. I would absolutely love Andrew Chafin, but I would try to get one more arm. But I do think the bullpen's very solid right now.
Ryan, is he a free agent?
Yes, he is a free agent. I thought he might have signed. I could be wrong on that. He was kind of like didn't have a great year last year. It was like 4-something ERA, but he could be. I mean, he could be like a solid depth piece to have. Low leverage situation, middle leverage, medium leverage. Sorry, but yeah. I mean,
I don't know if I see the Yankees going after this guy.
How about Ryan Weber? I mean, let's bring Ryan Weber back. The guy never gave a run. How many innings did he pitch? How many innings did he pitch? 12, 14 innings with the Yankees? I think he might have given up one run. I mean, the guy is unreal. I'm not even joking. I'm saying the Yankees should maybe bring Ryan Weber back. I'm not even joking. I think Ryan Weber's a good pitcher, and he's solid. And he also picked up 1 or 2 saves with the Yanks last year.
Ryan Weber is an interesting name. I'm glad you threw that out there, Ryan. I wonder if he's going to be on a team by spring training.
Of course he's going to be on a team. Maybe not.
I hope so. Blue Jays got Kevin Kiermaier.
Christian. What do you not like about Ryan? He was good with the Yankees every time he was on the mound. He was never bad. So
I don't have a problem with him. I just think your obsession is a little. It just needs to bump down a notch, maybe.
I think he's a solid hitter. I mean, all jokes.
There's no way
All jokes aside,
Ryan Weber should not be mentioned in a Yankees preparing to make a big move.
Okay, well, all jokes aside, there is a lot of better options out there, but Ryan Weber was definitely solid. All right, when he was pitching for the Yankees. So, yeah, that's all I'm gonna say.
All right, so going into next
season.
Anthony
Bonda, $300 million deal.
I mean, if it depends if he wants to stay in New York, but yeah, I wouldn't be opposed to that. So going into next season, Ryan, we have Clay Holmes as our closer, right?
Yeah.
We have Jonathan Loaiza. Shout out to Alex Bregman. Not saying I like this guy.
No, we're not giving him a shout out. We respect your opinion on Jonathan Loaiza, and Jonathan Loaiza definitely deserves credit because he is filthy, and he totally stepped up his game this year, especially in the second half. But we're not going to give you a shout out, but we respect your opinion. But
Alex Bregman said Jonathan Loaiza is the filthiest, is the toughest pitcher in baseball to face. So cool for Johnny Loaiza. He also said Loaiza wrong. It was something weird. But then probably Loaiza in the 8th. You have Mike King, who can kind of be like your 2-inning guy. Again, you don't want to overuse him because you cannot have this guy getting hurt. But say a starter goes 5 innings. All right, well, now Mike King can give you that 6-7 and take you right to Jonathan Loaiza and Holmes. So you're feeling really, really good.
And you got Trevino. You got Trevino,
right? You got Wandy Peralta, who is the
Who,
funniest
first of
guy in the
all,
Yankees.
let's put some respect and let's give Wandy Peralta some credit because he was absolutely money in the postseason. He was absolutely awesome, and he got his own postseason record. He is the only pitcher to appear in all 5 of ALDS games, all 5 of them, and he was very, very good. And yeah, I expect him to have a good season as well in 2023.
I really like Wandy Peralta. He is a good Yankee. So we got Lou Trevino, who I'm also feeling pretty good about.
Yep.
We have Lucas Lucky. Kind of an interesting situation with Lucky. It's like Yankees didn't use him in the playoffs at all, and they don't use him in like high leverage situations ever. And when they do it, it doesn't go well. So there was talks that like he was almost about to go to the Dodgers at the trade deadline. His Baseball Savant page is somehow like really good. And his numbers aren't bad, but the Yankees don't really use him in high leverage spots ever.
It's just like, my thing is, listen, I mean, you just watch him pitch, and I mean, when he's in like a high leverage spot, he gets drilled. And there's a stat. What's his Christian? What was his ERA?
So, I don't know. Well, kind of. So Fangraphs has a stat like high leverage situations. It's really cool. You can see the breakdown of players, hitters and pitchers, and their stats, their splits in low leverage situations, mid-level situations, and then high leverage situations. So I would imagine that pitchers, their ERA probably goes up a little bit in high leverage situations, because I assume that means like runners on base and stuff. But his was absurd. And over like a few seasons, a decently large sample size, it was bad. So I think the ERA was like 15 or something.
Yeah,
so,
I mean, the bottom line is I'm not worried about him. If he's on the roster, I don't really have a problem because he's pitching in low leverage spots. They have a lot of good relievers. So, I mean, hey, and he does eat up innings at the end of the day. So, I mean, I don't have a problem. I'm not out here saying, well, Yanks should get rid of this guy. No, I mean, solid pitcher, eats up innings. I mean, if he's in that bullpen, he's in that bullpen, and he'll eat up some innings, and maybe it'll be good.
F-Dog, he's having Tommy John, correct?
F who?
F-Dog.
Is that
F
a
Ross.
nickname?
Yeah.
Was that F-Dog?
Everyone calls him F-Dog. He's having Tommy John, right?
Yeah, he's getting Tommy John. He's going to be out all next year, unfortunately.
Well, good news, we have him for 5 years, so, the future's bright.
Yeah.
Estevan Florial, this is another interesting one. What are they going to... They're going to have him just play another season in AAA, and he's going to tear it up, and then they're going to call him up, and he's going to suck in the big leagues for 2 weeks? Like, there's so many guys with Miguel Andujar. Miguel. He's a Pirate. Florial, this is why I feel like something's going to happen. Like, what are they going to do with him?
I mean,
it just seems like a waste. It just seems like a waste to have him.
Christian, you have to fill out minor league rosters too.
I know, I get that, and I get there's a certain point. There's a purpose in having depth, but like, I feel like this guy could start on a major league team.
He's still young. He's fast. No, you're not going to get anything if you try to trade for him. You'd just be opening up a roster spot. And I don't know if he would make a big league team anywhere else he goes. So I don't see why there's a problem with having him. He's not rot. Like he's been given chances. He just hasn't capitalized yet. And he's still
I guess I don't have a problem with it. I'm more just frustrated. I really thought he was going to be something, and he still can. He's young, but I'm really high on this guy. Me and Ryan, we did last offseason, we did a video like predicting the Yankees lineup 10 years from now, I'd Florial penciled in. So, he's got a lot to live up to. They should DFA Florial. That's not really necessary. Christian Vasquez, really interesting one. Got to talk about the catching situation a bit. I don't
No,
think
I
Kyle...
don't. I know. I don't want Christian Vasquez.
Forget Vasquez. Forget him. I know you can only think of him as a Red Sox and Astro. Forget him. You have Jose Trevino, feeling good about him going into next season. But then you also have Ben Rortvedt, who should be able to make the roster. I mean, you hope. He's a lefty bat. He grades out really well defensively. So I wouldn't be surprised if Kyle Higashioka isn't back.
How young is Rortvedt?
I want to say 27. I'll check.
Because I'm wondering if they can maybe develop that bat a little bit more. And Trevino was not like a great offensive player when he was with the Rangers, but he came over the Yanks and he started hitting. As far as Higgy goes, he's going to be making, he's going to be making more money this year. I don't know. I mean, I've heard some people that like want to get Sean Murphy and have like a sick catching duo. I mean, there's prospects you could better spend, I think, especially at the trade deadline or something like that. But I'm not worried about catching situation at all. I'm pretty comfortable. Christian, to be honest with you, I'm really not worried with anything on the Yankees team as of now because I expect them to make more moves. Now, if they don't, and we're going this season with Michael Conforto, and then whole different story. But I would be utterly shocked and blown out of this world if that happened. I expect Carlos Rodon to be a Yankee this week. At least I hope so. But I mean, I'm not worried about the catching situation. I'm just right now, I'm like locked in. Let's get our moves done. Let's make our moves, and let's do this in 2023.
Good point. Gary Sanchez is a free agent, so.
And Gary Sanchez's agent came out this week, whatever. Gary Sanchez's agent came out and blamed the Yankees or blamed New York for the emotional baggage that it weighed on Gary Sanchez emotionally.
Seems like that's the story with a lot of players that aren't successful. They have their excuse saying it's too much, which I understand it is a lot of pressure, but you got to kind of own it.
Hey,
you're a professional sports player.
The thing is though, I think it's a lot easier for guys like that come up through the system because they know that environment. And like Philly fans can be tough too, right? Philadelphia fans. And Ryan Howard said when he was in like going through the minor leagues, he kind of like understood. Like the environment and stuff like that. And Yankee fans are a lot bigger, and we're a lot more passionate than Philly fans. We're the most passionate fans in all sports. But I think that it's a lot easier going up through the system. But some players have not been happy with it. Jose Trevino came out and said he loves, fans, but he loves the fans, booing because they want to win, because there's no moral victory. It's win, win, win. You have a job to do, win. Some people love it. Some people don't like it. It is what it is. Got to move on. Got to handle it. Got to learn how to handle it. That's another reason why I want the Yankees to sign Carlos Rodon. He has that energy, has that emotion. There's a lot of people saying he'd be a great fit for the Yankees, be able to handle that New York environment and really embrace it, like a lot of our players have. And it definitely is for a few of our guys, definitely like a power up. Like it definitely, I think, enhances their game.
Sorry, my dad's down here. It would definitely be interesting. Another interesting one, Tim LaCastro. Is he going to get brought back on another one-year deal to be our pinch runner of the postseason? I don't know. It's possible. Chris Bassett, if the Yankees go the cheaper route. Look, with the way the market's at right now, I don't know if I'd call this guy the cheaper route. I mean, he's cheaper than Rodon, but he's going to get a lot of money. So there's a lot of options right now at the Yankees as we wrap it up. All in all, the big move, this is what I'm going to be like looking forward to, in terms of the Yankees. What does that mean? Because it really is exciting thinking of the possibilities. I mean, now the Yankees, they did what they got their guys back in Judge and Rizzo. They added to the bullpen. So we're at a comfortable spot. We're basically where we were last year, which is not bad. This is another thing. People are saying, like, oh, you're the same team as last year. And similar to the Mets, like, the Yankees and Mets would happily take where they were last year. Obviously, they don't want the end result, but winning 99 and 100 and something games, that's okay, all right? So I'm
I don't know
excited
if
to
the
see.
Mets are the same team as last year. I mean,
Well, if
they've
anything,
definitely. They got Verlander, they got Sanger, they brought back Nimmo.
and
Maybe.
Quintana.
Yeah, maybe, but
It's not a Mets podcast, but yeah. Bottom line, I'm excited to see what the big move is. I'm leaning more towards a trade. And Correa just seems like a long shot, but you never know. You never know.
Hey, maybe Hal is finally saying, let's go out and do this. Let's go out and win this thing. And I think obviously the fans booing him last year, maybe that had some kind of toll on him. I did hear reports that he was a little bit not like upset at the fans, but it made him, made him a little sad. But I don't know. Go out, get both the Carloses, and your team's looking pretty solid. Pretty good. I mean, you got Carlos Correa in there, adding huge impact bat. You strengthen one of the biggest strengths on your team, adding a guy like Carlos Rodon. I mean, you're looking pretty good. Looking good.
Yeah. Thank you to everybody in the chat for joining. Appreciate all of you this Sunday night, choosing us over Sunday Night Football. And let's hope we get some more news, I guess.
And wait, final thing, Christian. For those of you who don't know, Christian predicted that Aaron Judge was going to sign on Wednesday last week. Predicted it. So, Christian, with the Yankees' most involved free agent at the moment, with that being Carlos Rodon, what day will Carlos Rodon hopefully sign with the New York Yankees and slide in to our rotation?
Some good news. It's coming tomorrow, Monday.
Boom! Boom! Christian says the Yankees are going to sign Carlos Rodon tomorrow. Let's see if it
Hold me
happens.
to it.